Edgar Wright was born in Poole on the 18th of March 1974. He is an English film and television director, screenwriter, producer and actor. His most popular films are what are known as the Cornetto trilogy. The Cornetto trilogy is made out of Shaun the Dead, which was made in 2004, Hot Fuzz 2007 and The World's End 2010. These films all have a lot in common. First of all, they were all about a normal man who lives a normal life but put into extraordinary settings, like a zombie apocalypse in Shaun the Dead or an alien invasion in The World's End. Also, they all star Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Another one of his well-known films is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and that is what we will look at first. Scott Pilgrim is one of the main inspirations for my own short film because of the techniques he uses to get the genre across to the audience. You can easily tell that Scott Pilgrim was based on a comic book because of the special effects he uses. As you can see, there are a lot of comic book-like effects, like whack when Scott hits someone. Also, sometimes the way the screen is set out makes it look like a comic book. Alongside his comic influence, Wright was also inspired by films like The Matrix and 2001: A Space Odyssey, with the special effects he uses. In my own short film, I would like to use some of these special effects. In a fight scene, I want to use some comic book-like effects. Also, if possible, would like to use sound effects. Something else he does is he almost makes fun of his own movie by when one of the characters is swearing, a black box appears over her mouth and a beep is heard, an example of visual censoring. Scott actually picks up on this and asks how she was doing that with her mouth.
And by the way, I can't believe you asked Ramona out after I specifically told you not to do that.
How are you doing that with your mouth?
Never mind how I'm doing it.
The next film we will look at is Hot Fuzz, released in 2007, starring Pegg and Frost. Throughout Wright's films, he used a lot of camera movements, zooms, tracking shots, and most famously, whip pans. Edgar uses whip pans to change location or to focus on another character. Another thing he does very well is visual comedy. He uses picture and sound to deliver jokes and not just rely on the actors. He uses things and people entering and leaving the frame in funny ways to deliver humour.
Listen.
It's for Scott.
The geographical location shouldn't factor in the application of the law. No thanks.
Are they still out there?
Yeah.
He also matches transitions to past time or location.
I remember this one.
Wallace, how do you do that? Wallace!
Surprisingly, one of the films that influenced Wright was Jaws. The scene I believe influenced him was when the shark popped up from the water as the fisherman was throwing raw meat in. This inspired him to make things enter the frame in funny ways.
I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chump some of this shit.
The final film we will look at is Shaun the Dead. Along with Scott Pilgrim, this film is one of my main influences for my own short film, and there are a lot of techniques I would like to use. The first one being quick cuts. Edgar Wright uses these very effectively to pass time, like making mundane things like making breakfast seem really interesting. He uses some of the same visual comedy techniques and camera movements as he does in Hot Fuzz, like whip pans and zooms. Wright was influenced by Dawn of the Dead, which he based the name on, but also the theme. All of these techniques he uses with visual comedy and unique camera movements make him different to most, if not any other director, therefore making him an auteur. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, boy!